I had a studio in a big mill in Huddersfield, and the landlord, who was a sort of like a archetypal mill owner, came to me in my studio and said, I've just bought this huge mill over in Halifax, and I want you to put some art in it. I said, oh, and what sort of art? He said, I know, you're the artist. 7 years full funding, come across and select the site that you want to do it all in. So we came across and wow, look at the building, glorious, 1830. So we looked around it and I said, oh, okay, I'll go away and give it some thought. So I called up my old pal Stan, Peter Stanier, a lad I was at the Royal College with, who is one of the best drawing teachers in the country. And I said, do you fancy starting a drawing school, Stan? So he came across, looked at it, saw the building, said, yep, I'm in. We launched in September 2008. You know, it's non-judgmental, people from all backgrounds. And it developed into this idea of the Everyman School of Art. You know, we're not interested in qualifications as such, although we do work with universities. We're doing it our way, we're not doing it under any, you know, we manage it, and as such, the model is ours, it's nobody else's.
You've got a model here that basically has its roots in the British or the English art school movement, which sort of tried and tested ways of getting people to express themselves, to use different creative medium. Now, you know, there are a number of places across the country that are trying to do something like this, but quite often what is missing is the method that has some grounding in what has worked in the past for people. And I know that, you know, for those who are directors in the artworks, John, Stan particularly, their experience of being part of the art school movement, it just feels it's of its time.
I found my way here in July 2013 after suffering many years of illness through stress, depression, and my consultant, Mr. Hill, he gave me a leaflet one day and said, had I considered art as therapy to assist in my recovery? And he said, go down to the artworks in Halifax, and they're running a taster session. So in July 2013, I attended a session with Peter Stanier, one of the directors here, and I learnt more in 2 hours than I had at school, and eventually got a studio space here down at the artworks. And I call the artworks my sanctuary because basically without it I don't know where I would have been. It's really important because of the support which I get from the staff here, the directors John, Stan and Lauren, but it's also about being part of the community, and I'm not just one person, there are other individuals here who have benefited, so this has been a complete reversal. It's taken 4 years and I would say I'm not fully recovered now because you still have moments. But without the artworks, I dread to think what would have happened.
It was our philosophy to start courses up around the basic principles of drawing and develop that as a starting point for students that come in and have the confidence through that drawing base that we give them at artworks, which they go through to move on into their own disciplines and their own sense of creativity. They take that confidence and they move out and develop their own sort of work.
We try and have an exhibition programme that's the balance between established high-profile artists and emerging artists, where they're shown one after the other and there's a kind of equal playing field there. We've done a community show, which has been a chance for us to show off all the talent that we've got here in the school downstairs and up in the studios, and a recent show with a group called Arte Libre, which was a Refugee Week Calderdale initiative that was a chance for refugees and asylum seekers in Calderdale to engage with art activities and to showcase the results and celebrate them at the end of the project. Quentin's done work in lots of hospitals, lots of schools, he's done lots of projects, using drawing as a tool to make people feel better, essentially, to give people aspiration, and that's something that we hope we do as well in our own projects.
I mean, the way it says itself to me is that it speaks to people. I mean, I know there is that expression, it speaks to people, but I think it does in a way, and it's just a sort of language, and it does. You know that they are reacting. I mean, I had a picture of a woman going, oh, like this. She's got a suitcase, you know, with stuff in it. Well, I mean, that isn't a dramatic picture, but in a sense, you have to try and find those moments, and that meant more to her than it did to me in a way, you know, because she said when you saw that woman wasn't able to decide what to put in her suitcase and so on, you look at that, and she said you feel confided in, you don't feel criticised. Now, how do you do that in drawing? I don't know, you know, but I mean, it's just you can tell people that something in the situation, but also in the way that you draw it. It means there's a whole variety of expressions and way of communicating, and I think that a lot of people don't realise that. I mean, I didn't when I started.
I was Chief Executive Officer of South West Yorkshire Partnership NHS Foundation Trust, which is a rather long title. I heard through different sources that there was something really good going on in Calderdale, that service users were really benefiting from participation in the arts and particularly in artworks. What we did is we formed a partnership, and we formed the partnership on a few levels really. One was to really start to get people who use mental health services visiting the art school, the Everybody School of Art, and start taking part in classes and the activities, but more importantly to do that as an artist first and not as a patient, not as somebody labelled with mental health problems. It was the actual activity itself that began to get people feeling there's something really creative in me here, there's something that's doing me something really good. From a corporate perspective, we started to think, yeah, if our mission was to actually help people reach their potential and live well in their communities, that goes well beyond the care and treatment that we would provide in any of our specialist facilities. It has to reach out into those assets that exist in local communities, such as the artworks.
We've got kids that have come to us, and we've got into the Royal College of Art. We have kids that we've got into different universities, and it's right across the board, right from about 5 or 6 year olds right up to people that are in their 80s. We also have encouraged kids that have come in on the road who've wanted to develop ideas. We had one lad come in whose name was William Pugh, and we taught him drawing, a particular type of drawing, which is called isometric drawing. He came in and he went away with that facility, with that skill, and he developed a video game called The Stanley Parable. That game apparently sold $3 million worth on the first 3 days of it coming out.
What does an art school do? It isn't just about, creativity is this silly fucking word that, he's that creative, he sits in the corner with a pile of fuzzy felt and he's keeping quiet for an hour. That's what they think creativity is. They don't get it in their head that 55% of the economy, not my figures, are based in the creative industries in this country. Art is about invention. Art is about inventing oneself, reinventing oneself, inventing a career for oneself. How does the world work? It's so important. It's equally important to the sciences, to mathematics, to reading, writing, all of those things. Art, or certainly drawing, is that essential ability to think through your hands. And once you learn the basics of drawing, you'll find that everybody's got a different way of thinking, whether or not they're going to draw, bouncing bombs, or whether or not they're going to draw flowers or nature or the universe, or, how to put my shed up. I don't know, but it's just so important. If only they got it, and if they only got the kind of the thing which they call soft power abroad, the way that our country is viewed. It's so much to do with those that come out of art school. Whether it's the bloody Beatles, or whether it's the Who, or whether it's Jonathan Ives that invented the iPhone, or whether or not it's, Dyson, who we were at the Royal College with. Scientists, yeah, engineers, yeah, artists, yeah, of course they were. And it's getting that importance of art school through to people that have got the access to the purse strings. So important.